Hello, Doctor. This is Chen Yuan Na. This is my first assignment of this module. I chose this paper from our essential reading week 4. The title is How Do We Better Understand the Qualified Self? Alright, let's start it. As the module playbook suggested, I divided the content into 4 parts. So we are mainly talk about the research questions and the background, aims of the research, and usage methods, and how data is used, also limitations and stresses of this research. So I choose this sentence to represent the first unit. This sentence is actually from the book. The author, she's very famous in this in her field for the social media and the mobile studying more than 15 years. And also I got the below sentence which is impressed me a lot, and I got so fascinated as it has said that what we think of today as a dairy is a relatively modern notion of what a dairy is. Throughout much of the 18th and 19th centuries, dairies were often written with the intention of sharing with others. Well, impressive, right? Well, in the context of the digital age, by studying the audience's daily activities and content analysis on social media, we can judge what new value social media brings to us. Actually, this is my personal perception after reading this book. So the author has aligned the key media content practices at work, both through diaries, photo albums, as well as through contemporary social media platforms. Argues that an important use of media is to document and share with others. So this habit has been continued for more than 100 years. And also the scholar Raymond Williams reminds us 3 different notion of the culture as well, and also the codified self can also be divided into 3 different versions as below. The second part, we're going to talk about what we have overlooked, the aims of the research, and why we need to understand the everyday routines and practices around social media. So there are 2 aims. To highlight one of the original ways that people have used and continue to use media in their everyday lives is one of the aim. Another aim is to identify the ordinary within new media practices by comparing them with historical media practices, by focusing on what people do with media rather than on the technology itself. So we should pay more attention to the content and what they do with sort of the different technologies, right? Through media research that spans a longer period of time, we can achieve a more accurate judgment on the value of social significance that social media creates for contemporary users, and by avoiding some lack caused by mistaking an existing media value for the uniqueness of social media value misperceptions can produce a more accurate understanding of social media and the digital media age. So should we convince the used methods and the data which has been used, are they convincing? So these are the keywords of the research, right? The empirical research with the interviews and observations and content analysis mainly came from scholarship of historians, feminists, and literary scholars, historical context, 19th century North American diaries, and letters. So could it be better? Yes. As we just mentioned, the author's main data came from 3 types of scholars, right? So the selected content is from North America, and the timeline is the 19th century. Therefore, if the tapes of the scholars and the source of the content can be richer, and the timeline can be wider, the conclusions obtained by the author may be more confident. But the author's article is already fascinating and impressive, very much enough. So now we're gonna talk about some very interesting sentence and some words from the book. Mobile media and social media are not the roots of the narcissism. Actually, the user started to do that 100 years ago. So I was impressed. Also, I would like to share from here as well. And also, we talk about the keyword media accounting, which has been went through the whole book. A very important meaning for this book, right? So there are three subwords to represent this media accounting, which means accounting, and accountability. As you can see, that account means tied to an identity, but subjective. And accounting means evidentiary, means you put a lot of documents, right? You record a lot of things or traces. And accountability means the sociality, right? So you have the obligations and responsibles to bear witness to the traces of others, right? And another very interesting case has been raised rather than the dodgeball is the Kodak for me, because the author considered that is the Google of 20th century, because the Kodak, they have all the access with all the content of the users, but the usage is different. Kodak provides service rather than to modify. So that's the main reason, the difference between Kodak and nowadays new type of the media company nowadays, and the organizations as well. So a little bit exceeded. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.